Hey everyone, I was on the internet, big surprise, and there was a conversation that basically boiled down to compassion fatigue and knowledge bias. And so I wanted to talk about it. It made my brain buzz, and I love that feeling, and then I got to let it out. So compassion fatigue is when you are too tired to care. We don't want to have compassion fatigue. It happens a lot in healthcare, mental health. If we have to take care of a family member, it happens when somebody is struggling with addiction and the other family members cannot put that energy in to care and expend because they're drained. So it's a very normal thing, and it's something that has to actively be reduced and prevented because our energy is precious. If you have compassion fatigue with a loved one, it does not mean you don't love them. It just means some more self-care, some boundaries, some emotional detachment, maybe some Al-Anon. So don't beat yourself up. Compassion fatigue is not an excuse to be cruel or abusive. The more you know. But anyway, the other thing is knowledge bias. I just recently learned about this. And it is when you know something, and because you know it, you assume everybody should know it. A couple things happen there. You sound like an asshole. I was horrible to my little sister growing up because I was treating her like she should be acting my age, and I'm like 9.5 years older than her. So it's not helpful. It's, people who are teachers should really be looking at their knowledge bias because everybody learns differently. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they have. So besides the fact that my knowledge bias makes me look like an asshole because it makes me sound condescending, it makes it look like I'm looking down on people. Because when you say, you should know this, or shouldn't you already get this, you're just saying that you think they're stupid. Is what that translates into. And then the other thing knowledge bias does is it robs you of acknowledging the hard work you did to get to the point where you know stuff. If you've been driving stick for a long time and you're like, oh, this is nothing, and you forgot like the struggles when you started, you're not acknowledging that you got stuff done. So it hurts everybody with the knowledge bias. It shows up in compassion fatigue because we don't understand. I've experienced knowledge bias when, after I lost a chunk of weight, like 60 pounds, and then when somebody would start talking about wanting to lose weight and this and that, and I'd be like, well, why don't you just do this? If I can do it, anybody can do it, and all that, and then, I sound like an asshole. It happens a lot when you've been in a job for a long time. Problem with knowledge bias, and then especially compassion fatigue, is when we have never had to go through something we think it's easy to get out of. This gets represented in poverty. Somebody who grew up middle class understands the rules of like a middle class household, doesn't quite get that you can't buy in bulk when you're under the poverty level. Might say, well, why don't you go buy quality shoes that don't break every 2 weeks, every month, you don't wear them out. But that means you don't eat if you have to spend $100 on boots, like Red Wing, the kind you get repaired that are going to last you a lifetime. So I don't have a solution. Practice self-care. Ask people to talk to you about it. Tell them their experiences. Just listen to understand, not to reply, because it can be tough. And if you are experiencing the compassion fatigue, get yourself some self-care. You should not be putting out your energy when it's hurting you. You got to protect yourself also. Right? Being nice doesn't mean getting walked over. Being assertive doesn't mean being an asshole. Yeah. Hug some babies. Eat some Halloween candy. Scare some little kids who have the emotional resiliency to handle it. Have a great day.